What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 8 of the Kart build. So as you saw previously, I went ahead and welded in the base plates onto the body, those side base plates. So as I was kind of measuring up the hoop to make sure that it lays flat, it wasn't laying flat 100%. So I ended up lifting the Civic and hammering them from underneath to make the body nice and flat, as shown here. So they are nice and flat. And I figured, I was looking at the hoop and I did a really crappy job on these welds. I mean, I was kind of rushing it. You can see those are really, really bad. So, and I wasn't happy with this either. So I went ahead and tack welded a whole base plate to the hoop. And I'm gonna focus much better on the welding. And plus it'll add for more support over here. So those will go down right here. I'll weld it in. I'll weld those base plates to this base plate right here and this base plate right here, because you can see how really thin the this body is. I mean, I can literally just bang on it and it'll fall through. So I figured may as well just go ahead and cut those little pieces off on the bottom and just put a whole base plate on there. It won't hurt anything. It didn't really cost me anything to do it. So let's go ahead and fully weld the hoop onto these base plates, and then we're going to fully weld the base plates and the hoop onto the body of the car to these other base plates. So I know I kind of said it like 1,000 times I was going to weld the hoop in. Well, now I'm confident everything is ready for it, so let's go ahead and do it. Take a look pretty good, the welds, and it's sitting pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and weld this piece to these two base plates. Hoop is now welded in. Holds pretty good. I can push pretty hard on that. So the only issue is I have quite a bit of gap between the base plate and the body of the car. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but I can't weld that big of a gap. So what I'm gonna do is lift the Civic and try to hammer the body up a little bit. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna go ahead and try to heat up the base plate and hammer the base plate down and try to mold it to the body. And then I can get a decent weld, because that gap is way too big for me to weld. So let's do it. So that actually came out really good. So I went ahead and bang that one up and it's nice and flush. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that side and then we'll weld it in completely. Alright guys, so that is decent. That's much better than that huge gap we had on the other side. So let's go ahead and weld these two plates in and the hoop will finally be done and we will move on. Alright guys, so the base plates are welded in, the hoop is welded in, and it's very sturdy. I'm really happy with it. Let me show you exactly what it's going to look like. I went ahead and mocked up the pipes on the hoop and the rear strut bar, and looking pretty good. All I gotta do is kind of cut them to length and get them welded in. Once they're welded in, everything is welded in, I'm gonna go ahead and sand them and primer them so the whole back end of the car will finally be complete. So let's get started. So the two bars right here are fitted correctly, they are good to go. So I went ahead and moved on to the bars going from the strut bar to the hoop. It is giving me a little bit of trouble, not so much as the pipe, it's really my tools. I just gotta invest in some decent tools. Right now I'm using this keyhole saw and it's making some good progress, but my tools are just, to be honest, they're kind of overheating. So I'm just gonna give it a little rest and then we'll get right back to it. One, I had a scrap piece and unfortunately it did not work. This is an old piece and it is too short, so unfortunately I have to use my very last stick, and the only way to get more is if I drive about maybe an hour away. So we have at least enough to finish the back end, which is good, and then we'll just go pick up more. So let's finish it up. Alright guys, everything's fitted correctly, so now we just gotta weld everything in and we are good to go. So first I'm gonna measure everything, make sure everything is spot on, and then I'll weld it in. So let's do it. It was kind of a pain, but I finally got everything lined up. Everything cut correctly, so everything is looking good. So before I weld it, I'm gonna go ahead and sand all of the pipe that needs to be welded. I'm not exactly sure why I marked it, but it's whatever. So let's go ahead and sand everything, then we'll line it back up again, and then we'll weld everything in. It is hot here in sunny Florida. Alright guys, so saw me completely clean the hoop and the strut bar, and I went ahead and cleaned the pipe that's going to be welded in. They're pretty wet, so I figured this is a good time for me to go ahead and go to the racing store and pick up some more pipe, because I am completely out. So I won't be able to make any progress without the pipe here. So let's go ahead and head over there and pick up some sticks. Alright guys, so we just got back, got some more sticks, and I also got some more base plates so that whenever I'm done building the back, I can start working on the doors. So, now that everything is dry, let's go ahead and weld everything in. Alright guys, so hoop and back end is officially in, welded in. Not the greatest weld job, but I'll clean that up with the grinder and re-weld where I think it might need it. It is very sturdy. I did hang from it for a second to test it, make sure everything was good, and obviously it held up. So, alright guys, so that's a wrap for this video. Next episode I'm going to be primering all the bars and also locking up the doors. So once the back end is complete and the doors are complete, I'm going to start working on the front. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be taking off or what I'm going to be leaving there. So, and welcome to all the new subscribers. I know we are picking up a few more subscribers, so I really appreciate the love and support, guys. I will see you next episode.